Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are doing the Panchadasi, 9th chapter. This is on the meditation on Aham Brahmasmi. One that who has listened to the scriptures and have the Paroksha Jnanam, indirect knowledge, but does not have the Aparoksha Jnanam, that is, I am Brahman, even though he has studied exhaustively the Mahavakyas, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, so it's intellectually understood, but cognitively as ascertained that I am indeed Brahman. What J. Krishnamurti calls it, it's only understanding as a thought, but not understanding as a fact. So factually I am Brahman is not being internalized. For that one has to do constant the vichara, inquiry, because even though I have listened to the scriptures, that the knowledge that I am Brahmasmi has not been firmly abiding in me, because when I am transacting in the world, due to remaining ragadveshas, I get carried away and therefore forget my real nature and get affected by the world. So what should I do? The best way is sit down and inquire who I am until that knowledge abides before one gets involved in the activities. If that is not possible, then only he is recommending a Nirguno Brahma Upasana. Nirguno Brahma Upasana, because it is something like Samvadi Brahma. It's not really real, but it's convenient for the mind to keep in that state, and that too not in any form or anything, but on the understanding that I am Brahman, because the knowledge is there, and therefore meditation is also of that nature, and therefore he is justifying Nirguna Brahma Upasana. So objection is, how can you have Nirguna Brahma Upasana? Because I can only do Upasana for Saguna Brahma. All our rituals and everything is Ishvara out there, and even though Ishvara I cannot see, I picturize him in some form, just like as a Vigraham, and then do puja. When I am doing puja, it's not to the Vigraham, but it is to the Lord, that I am invoking His presence during the puja. That's why Asmin Bimbe Avahayami. So Mahavishnum Avahayami, Mahaganapatim Avahayami. So I am inviting the Lord to come in there, because it's not there. And once I requested Him come, now it is the Lord, not anymore Vigraham. At least that is the seekers or the upasakas view of the situation. So therefore, others may say you're only doing a idol worship, but what he is worshipping is not the idol, it's a worshipping of the ideal behind the idol. Just as when I'm saluting a piece of cloth with stars and stripes or with tricolors, I'm not really saluting a piece of cloth with colors painting there, but I know I am saluting the flag of the nation. So when I chant Janaganamana or the chant of the national anthem, I am praising the Lord, the country itself, even though I am saluting a piece of cloth with the tricolors or stars and stripes. So depending upon my view, it is only upasana. I cannot pray to the Lord which is infinite and which I cannot see, but I can worship in the form that I can see. At the same time, what I am doing is not to the idol. That understanding is there because it's outside is I'm invoking. So how can you do upasana on Nirguna Brahma? He says, if you can study and learn about Nirguna Brahma, then I can do upasana also. Because you are studying Asthulam, and this is the Anirdveshyam, and Asthulam is it's not a grass, it's not a fine, it's not small, it's not a big. All those contradictory qualifications of the Brahman is being invoked. And if you can invoke that which cannot be known, because it's aprameyam. Aprameyam means cannot be an object of knowledge. At the same time, you are studying Vedanta. So if you can do it, I can also do upasana. That's the justification here. And if you complain that the Nirguna Brahma Tattvasya Vidyayam Guna Samhruti Na Yujyati, it is not, cannot be thought of, and how can you do upasana? So don't blame me. If you are essentially trying to blame Veda Vyasa. That's what we said in the mantra, in the sloka 70. Let's chant 71 now. Hiranyasmassu suryadi Hiranyasmasru suryadi Murtinam anudahrutehe Aviruddham nirgunatvam Ijite tushyatam tvaya Ijite tushyatam tvaya. Together, Hiranyasmassu suryadi Murtinam anudahrutehe Aviruddham nirgunatvam Ijite tushyatam tvaya. So we are praising the several descriptions of all the gods are there, and for example he is giving about the Surya. Upasaka, we do Sandhya Vandanam, invoking the presence of Surya because the Surya when the sun rises, you have to do the Sandhyopasana. So in that Hiranyasmasru Suryadi, so the Ishvara, the sun is described as, is essentially a golden, the beard, etc. is Suryadi. Hiranyasmi, he is the one with the golden color and all that. With the description of the sun god. Anudrahuti, having not meant, is only it's not really true, but we are only for upasana. Aviruddham, so but this is not contradictory of when I am invoking, it's not a contradictory of the reality also, appears to be but not real. Aviruddham, not contradictory. Nirguna upasana, it is it. If you can invoke something that is not there and still say that is valid, if you say, and in case if you object like that, so all the descriptions of the upasana is not meant, it's not really there, but for upasana's sake you are doing it, if you say, and if you are happy with it, tvaya tushyamta. So if you are happy with it, let it be. So if you are content with it, I have no objection. So same thing applies essentially for Nirguna upasana, Nirguna Brahma upasana. 72. Gunanam lakshakatvena natventa praveshanam iti ched asyayavameva brahmatattvam upasyatam. Together. Gunanam lakshakatvena natventa praveshanam iti ched astvevameva brahmatattvam upasyatam. Gunanam lakshakatvena. See, these attributes that we are talking about, all the attributes that we are talking about, this is only is only pointers towards the Brahman. From the point of Advaita, they are Lakshana. Lakshana means they are not Vachyartha, you cannot take it, but you have to take it Lakshartha. So it says in the Purusha Suktam, it says Sahasrasirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishvato Vrutva Atyatishtaddashangulam Purushaye Vedagum Sarvam. So, you say Atyatishtaddashangulam, and someone was interpreting that he is 10 inches above. So, measured 10 inches, and then from there he is there. So, that is called Vachyartham. Vachyartham is not, it's not Vachyartham. It's not that he is above 10 inches only. He means he is untouched, asangaha, untouched by the what is happening in the world. That's why it says, all beings are him. Maya tadamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina mastani sarvabhutani. Then nachaham teshu avastitaha. Their avastha, that thing does not belong to me, because atyatishtaddashangulam, he is 10 inches above. That means asangaha, asangoham, 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 punah punaha, sachidananda rupoham, ahameva hamavyeha. So untouched, 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 because either from the body point or from the mind point or from the intellect point, unaffected by what's happening at the body, mind, intellect level. And this is wherefore Lakshartha means indicatory. I have to think in that direction. Astulam is not gross. So whatever gross is, then he is not that. He is also that, but he is not exactly what you think it is. It is something that supports all the gross, but yet it's not the gross. So if you say the whole universe, it says all the stones, rivers, everything is nothing but him only, but it's not the stones, rivers and everything. Just as you say ring and a bangle and a necklace are all gold only, but it's not the ring, it's not the bangle, it's not a necklace. So Lakshartha, look at the ring. Gold is nothing but the ring. Gold is nothing but the bangle. Gold is nothing but the bracelet. So I had to think not the word meaning, but indicatory, that looking at the ring and discarding what is the superficial names and forms, and concentrating that because of which it came, by which it sustained, into which it goes back, that alone is gold. In the same way, I had to use the Lakshartha, indicatory definitions. So if you say all the gunas that have been described, astulam, agrahyam, agotram, avarnam, atachusotram, padapani padam, nityam vibhu sarvagatim susukshmam, yadbhuta yonim paripasyanti dhiraha. Dhiraha paripasyanti. Dhiras, the wise people seeing what? That which is astulam, agrahyam, that which cannot be seen, which cannot be heard, which cannot be touched. All that descriptions, then how can they see? I mean, they understand. So through Lakshartha, drop the Vachyartha and look beyond, using the Viveka, using the discriminative intellect. So drop the name and form, superficial name and form, the ring and the bracelet, or the bracelet and the bangle, the names and forms and their attributes, drop them. But in and through the attributes of those, look inside, what because of which ring is, bangle is, necklace is, that which supports everything, from which they came, by which they are sustained, into which they go back. That alone is gold. The same way, the Brahman also had to drop superficial attributes. Therefore, I had to use Lakshartha, called Bhagatyaga Laksham. So, Gunanam Lakshakatvena. So, attributes are only pointers to Brahman, they do not belong to Brahman. Tatve in Brahman, Antaha Praveshanam, and the Na iti ched, there is no entry of those attributes in the Brahman. Why? Because Brahman is infinite. In only finite things can be having an attribute. Attribute is that which differentiates one object from the other object, and Brahman is not an object. And even infinite is only negation of finiteness only. If you say that, then it is only an indicatory attributes, but not real attributes. So there is no attributes for infinity. This is where the Advaita Vedanta differs from the other the darshanas, where for them Ishvara including the Visishta Advaita and Dvaita. The Ishvara is Ananda Kalyana Gunam, infinite auspicious qualities, and he is the locus of all that. And therefore, he becomes an object, therefore, he is objectified as an Ishvara, and therefore one has to serve Ishvara. Why? He is different from you. Therefore, that's exactly the method, the philosophy others, whereas the Advaita points out, being infinite, it cannot have attributes. Therefore, it's Nirgunam. So, all the gunas are only Lakshartha. So, Antaha Pravesham Na. If you say so, Evameva Astu, let that be so. So, if you say they are all only pointers, let that be. Let's also be meditation, also we'll do in the same way. So, Evameva Astu, Brahma Tattvam Upasyatam. So, in the same way, one can meditate on Brahman also, knowing very well that Brahman doesn't have any attributes, but all attributes are only indicatory. Just as at the Lakshartha wise, you can still meditate on the Brahman, on the Nirguna Brahman. So therefore, whatever you do for the Vichara, you can also do for the Upasana. So what are the Nirguna Brahma attributes? Let's go into 73. Anandadibhi astuladibihi, Anandadibihi astuladibihi, Chatmatra lakshitaha, Chatmatra lakshitaha, Akhandaika rasaha soham, Akhandaika rasaha soham, Asmiti evam upasate, Asmiti evam upasate. Together. Anandadibihi astuladibihi Chatmatra lakshitaha Akhandaika rasaha soham Asmiti evam upasate. So what are the attributes of Brahman that scripture says? One is Ananda. Ananda means he is a nature of happiness. It is a Swarupa Lakshanam. So Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma. And Anantam is Anantameva Anandam, because limitless alone is real happiness. All other things are, when you say, are due to the reflected attribute, reflected Ananda. So the happiness that one gets during the sense enjoyment or any other enjoyment by having a possession of objects and the wealth and so on and so forth, they are all reflected Ananda only, and that's what scripture says in the Taittiriya Upanishad, in the Anandavalli. In this, the happiness that one gets depends upon the hierarchy of the jiva. So Manushyan, Oka Manushya Anandaha is where he owns everything in the world and able to digest the food, whatever he eats. Therefore, that happiness is one unit. And therefore, Gandharvananda, Devananda, all the way, everybody's Ananda is 100 times below the people. And at the same time, scripture points out, at each level, you can get the same Ananda by Sotriyasya Akamayatasya. So, Sotriyaha Akamayaha, the one who is contented with whatever he has and understand that having a knowledge, it's not the possession that gives you happiness, it is the contentment. The mind is satisfied with what it is, that is the happiness. And at each level the mind is satisfied up to that point. Therefore you can get same happiness even without having the things also. That's why scripture says you can get the same happiness. Sotriyasya akamayatasya. So one who has Sotriyaha, Sotriya means one who has studied Vedanta and who does not have any desires, that means he has fulfilled up to that point, full up to that point, does not have any desires, therefore he also gets the same Ananda. All the way up, ultimately anything that is Ananda, that is getting from something other than yourself is only reflected Ananda, and your nature is Swarupa Ananda. Therefore, it is your own Ananda that is getting reflected, and if you can establish yourself in yourself, you are full by yourself and you don't depend upon anything else. Therefore, you have no desire for anything. Hence, Krishna says, what is a Sthita Prajnaha? So, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atman evatmana tushtaha Sthita prajnastadochyate. So, how he is defining the Sthita Prajna? Sthita Prajna is, and Prajna itself is knowledge. Sthita Prajna means one who is abiding in the knowledge. That means he has a Paroksha Jnanam. That comes by Vichara, inquiry only. So how does this get? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. A partha, so Prajahati, who is giving up manogatan from the mind, all desires that he has. So he has given up all the desires. So how can he given up? It's not a forceful give up. It is because Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha. Because he is reveling in himself by himself, therefore he has given up. So how can reveling in himself by himself makes happy? He revels in himself only because the self that he revels in is full and therefore Ananda Swarupam. Therefore he doesn't have any more desire for anything else, and therefore he is Tushtaha. Therefore he is full by himself, and that's what essentially the Krishna talks about Ananda. So the limitless alone is Ananda, and Shankaracharya says Ananda is its Swarupam because why? Anantatva, because it's infinite. So infinite has to be limitless, limitless has to be Ananda, and that is Anandadibihi. Astuladibihi is not gross. So don't look for anything that you can perceive. Or gross means any objectifiable entity through five senses or through inference or any of the prameyams that you get through pramanas. Prameyam is object of knowledge, pramana is means of knowledge. So anything you can get through pramana is not that. How about Vedanta pramana? Vedanta pramana becomes a pramana only because using the words, it is pointing something beyond the words. That's called Lakshartha. So therefore, Astulaha, like the words like Astula, it's not a grass, it's not small, it's not subtle, it's not big, so by contradictory words, neither it's small nor it's a big. So how can that be? So it is something that pervades both the small and the big. So smallness and bigness is only relative, but this is an absolute one that pervades everything, and therefore Astuladibihi sa Atmatra Lakshanam. So Astuladibihi, so Lakshitaha Saha Atma Ahamasmi iti evam upasate, and Akhandaikarasaha is of the unbroken, undifferentiated Anandarasam or Chaitanya Swarupam, consciousness, existence, and the Ananda or Akhandam, means there are no parts in that. So Swajati, Vijati, Swagata, Beda, Rahitam. So even Swagata Beda also is not there. That's why it's Akhandam. Khandam means parts, and parts can be possible only if it can be parted. Only finite things can be parted, but not infinite. So therefore, the darshana of other philosophers cannot subscribe to this because they feel that Jiva is real, world is real, Ishvara is real, and so on. Therefore, they are part of the totality, but totality is infinite. One side they say it is infinite, at the same time it can be parted. So that is a logical contradiction. Therefore, Akhandaha, Ekarasaha, so saha aham iti asmiti evam upasate. So what is the meditation on Nirgunopasana? Here is what the clutch of the whole chapter here is. I have to contemplate, meditate, and aham brahmasmi with an understanding that Brahman is all the attributes of that has been, it is Akhandam, Astulam, and all that. So I am concentrating, which is not a khandam. So in and through khandam it is there. So I had to keep the mind in that, even though it is not, what I am seeing is not, just as any upasana, where even though I am doing puja to Vishnu or Shiva or Ganapati, I am putting in the form, even though knowing very well that's not the form that I am really worshipping. In the same way, I can do upasana on the Nirguna Brahma or Dhyanam on the Nirguna Brahma also. Then what's the difference between the Vichara and the Nirguna Upasana on the Aham Brahmasmi? So if you ask that question, now he is going to talk about what's the difference between the inquiry into that I am Brahman versus doing the meditation that Aham Brahmasmi. So this 74. Bodhopastor Visheshaha Bodhopastor Visheshaha Ka iti ched uchyate shrunu Ka iti ched uchyate shrunu Vastu tantro bhaved bodhaha Vastu tantro bhaved bodhaha Kartrutantra Kartrutantram together Bodhopastor Visheshaha Ka iti ched uchyate shrunu Vastutantro bhaved bodhaha Kartrutantra upasanam. So bodha upasya visheshaha. What is the bodha upasyaha? Between the knowledge and upasana, bodhaha and upasanaha. So what is the difference between the vichara, inquiry, through which you get the knowledge, nididhyasitavyaha, your inquiry is required, and here is you are doing only upasana, or they say Am Brahmasmi, Am Brahmasmi, Am Brahmasmi, visualizing what the Brahmasmi means and doing upasana. What is the difference between the two? So here he says, bodhaha and upasaha vishesha ka iti chet. If you ask, uchyate shrunu. If you ask, shrunu, listen to that. Vastutantro bhaved bodhaha. Bodhaha, knowledge is vastutantram, whereas upasana is kartrutantram. What is vastutantram, kartrutantram? Vastutantram is, it's not in my control. It is in the object. So here, for example, I am listening to a talk. So I am listening to the talk. What is the vastutantram? What is the purushatantram there? The two aspects involved. So when I go to a class and sit and listen to my teacher, or even this talk also. So what am I listening? So I am using my karanas, instruments. I need for if it is listening, I had to use my ears. For seeing, I had to use my eyes. So these are instruments, and that is my control. I can close my eyes and I don't see what's there. If it's a movie or anything, I can't see. Or I close my ears and unplug myself, then I cannot hear. So this is Purusha Tantram, where from my side says what I can choose to listen, not to listen, and so on and so forth. It's called Kartrutantvam or Purusha Tantram. Whereas what I am listening or what I am hearing depends on the teacher. So I cannot control what the teacher is going to say. So teacher is going to say, it depends upon the teacher only. Therefore it is Vastu Tantram. I have no control from the knowledge wise. Any knowledge has no control. I can prepare my mind, but whether the knowledge takes place or not is not in my hand. That's why some people, students, keep on reading and studying and nothing happens. Whereas some people, even once they study, they learn immediately and they go and play. So this fellow is playing all the time, and whereas this guy is studying all the time. So we had one student, one classmate in our BE doing Institute of Science, where this guy, he wants, because it's a complete competition, and who gets first is important. So this guy used to go around every room in the night and say, hey, what is there to study? And this is only all things. So he was discouraging everybody to study and then go to the room and study himself. So this kind of crookedness was there in order to, because he wants to score high by discouraging other people rather than score high by knowing more. So that is because that part is depends on the individual. Even if I study, I may not get it because that depends upon the knowledge object wise. So that's called the Vastu Tantram versus Kartru Tantram. And knowledge is, I cannot will the knowledge. I can do preparation and study from my point, but knowledge, Goddess Lakshmi has to come to me, Goddess Saraswati has to come to me. She will come only if I have prepared my mind. Chitta Ekagrata is there, concentration on that, then only Goddess can Sakshatkaram will be there. Otherwise, I'll be just reading the book, nothing will happen. So concentration, all those things important. Therefore, students differ only because they have some people can immediately concentrate and get the knowledge, whereas other people, the mind will be wandering all over, but the book is hand and sitting there all the time, 24 hours they will be studying, nothing will be happening. That's because of lack of concentration and meditation on the subject. We'll do 75 now. Vicharajñāyate bodhaha, vicharajñāyate bodhaha, anicchāyanna nivartayet, anicchāyanna nivartayet, svotpatti matra samsare, svotpatti matra samsare, dahatyakila satyatam, dahatyahita satyatam. Together. Vicharajñāyate bodhaha, anicchāyanna nivartayet, svotpatti matrat samsare, dahachakila satyatam. So what's the difference between the knowledge and upasana? He's going to talk about here. So now he's talking about the first he said, one is the Vastu Tantram, another is the Kartrutva Tantram, that means Purusha Tantram. It depends upon me, whereas the other one doesn't depend upon me. What is that doesn't depend upon me? The knowledge doesn't depend on me. I have to inquire. Inquiry depends on me, but whether I get the knowledge, it doesn't depend on me. Whereas the upasana, it depends only the mental avrutti, repetition of the thought and exclusion of all other thoughts. That depends on me. And what's the difference? What do I gain between these two? And this being said in this loka, where knowledge is vicharat jnayate, vicharat bodhaha vicharat jayate. So knowledge comes by inquiry. So any knowledge, one has to inquire. Inquire means why is it, what is it, and so on and so forth. A questioning mind will get the answers only. So inquiry requires vichara. That knowledge gives jayate. So the knowledge is born when the maturity of the inquiry is there. So scientist also investigates, inquire what is the cause for it. So he evaluates all the possibilities. It cannot be this, it cannot be that. Neti, neti, neti. Neti means not this, not this, not this, and tries to zero in what is that which can explain these observations. Because he cannot see what it is, but he sees what the data, and using the data he has to explain the cause. So same way, by inquiring into that you get the knowledge, and that's why bodhaha vicharat jayate. Yaha, to that knowledge, anicca, even if I don't want it, it comes. This is the as I am doing inquiry, even there is no from personal point whether I need it or not, don't it. Because if I have ichcha, then I concentrate more on it. That is of course is there. That's why mumukshutvam is required. The desire to get liberated should be motivates me to inquire. Otherwise, I won't even sit for inquiry or sit in the Vedanta class. So anicca, lack of desire, na nivartayed. So cannot be negated. So you need to have it, and at the same time it takes place by vichara. So utpattihi matrat, by its own birth, samsare, the samsara, akilam, the total samsara is satyatam dahati, is immediately gets burned away. Samsara gets burned away means my wrong notions gets burned away, because knowledge can only remove the ignorance only. So ignorance of what? ignorance of taking the plurality as a reality. So I can perform the actions without the agency of action saying that I am a doer, but in my presence this karmani akarmayah paschyetu. Krishna says, while acting at the same time have the notion that I am not really acting. It is either Lord is acting through me, therefore Lord is responsible, or the Prakriti itself is acting in my presence. Either way, I am not accountable for it. So therefore vasanas will not come. So therefore samsaraha dahati. So it gets burned away. Samsara is samsarati. Keep going, I am this, I am this, I am this, and going from one loka to other loka is samsara. And that gets burned away by the jnanam. So jnanena sarva karman, all Krishna says, by knowledge, all karmas get burned away. Because karma is nothing but notion that I am a doer. Knowledge is, I am not a doer. Therefore, prakriti evacha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha. So Krishna says all activities are done by the Prakriti only. So Prakriti evacha karmani kriyamani sarvasaha. Yaha pasyati saha pasyati. One who sees this clearly alone sees. Alone sees means alone has a clear understanding of what is the nature of reality. So that is the nature of jnanam. So he is inquiring what is the result and what is the means also has been pointed out for a knowledge, for a vichara, which is different from upasana. So then tavata kruta krutyaha sannitya trupti ma upagataha tavata kruta krutyaha sannitya trupti ma upagataha jivan muktam anuprapya jivan muktim anuprapya prarabdha kshayamichate prarabdha kshayamichate. Together, tavat kruda krutyaha and sannitya trupti upagataha jivan muktim anuprapya prarabdha kshayamichate. So tavata means that in the rise of that, in the knowledge, when the knowledge comes in, as the dawn of the knowledge, kruta krutyaha, he has done what need to be done in life, not only this life, the whole life series itself. Therefore, that what is that I have to do? What am I doing? I am doing to gain happiness, and I am full by myself. There is no more desire for anything else. Therefore, he is krutak krutyaha, having achieved what need to be achieved in life, and therefore krutak krutyaha sannityaha, and that is of the nature of that the nature of the reality. Krutak krutyaha nityatruptaha upagataha, he attains that, and jivan muktim, free from the liberation while living, anuprapya, having gained. So by this vichara he gains that I am in fact full, I am sthita prajnaha. Then what he is going to do? Prarabdha kshayam ichate. He will wait until the prarabdha goes away. Prarabdha means the body, mind and intellect will continue because it's born because of the previous karmas. So until all the prarabdha goes away, because they are products of prarabdha, they are sustained by the prarabdha, until it goes away, he will live. So prarabdha of many kinds, of his own karma, of other people's karma also keep the body. So the whole family member or from the disciples want that kind of Mahatma to live, then the prarabdha, or because of that, the body also will be maintained. So with this, he is talking about the upasana, the difference between the knowledge and upasana. So what is the knowledge and what do we gain here? So called. Now he is going to talk about what does upasana will do, how is it differ from the vichara. This will take up in the next talk. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।